getting discovered and mentored by Queen Bee herself.
And of course, there is Beyoncé.
Thank you, Beyoncé, for being you.
Keeping the news of her pregnancy a complete secret.
No one on social media, and for damn sure no one on the planet, was gonna tell me what to do with my body.
And enduring immense racism and discrimination in Hollywood? These are 10 things you did not know about Halle Bailey. And trust me, you want to stick around to number 4 because that moment will leave you in complete shock. At number 10, let's rewind a few years back to where it all started. The year is 2008. The Bailey family is living in Atlanta. Dad's a stockbroker turned stage dad. Mom's a social worker. Money is tight. Like, we share one laptop to upload music tight. But they see something special in their daughters, especially Khloe. Khloe was the natural performer, the one everyone noticed. A powerhouse voice, big energy, star presence. Holly, on the other hand, the shy, quiet younger sister. She liked singing, sure, but was perfectly content in the background, harmonizing like a ghost in the attic. Even in their earliest YouTube videos, Khloe would lead. Holly would stay behind the mic stand, barely making eye contact with the camera. And yet, it would be Holly who would step into the global spotlight first. But how did the quiet sister become a voice of a generation? The answer involves Beyoncé, a broken laptop, and a cover song that changed everything. Now, at number 9, you've heard the fairy tale version. Two sisters upload a Beyoncé cover to YouTube. Beyoncé sees it, likes it so much, and signs them. Now, the story goes, one day Holly and Khloe decided to remake Beyoncé's Pretty Hurts cover song and upload it to YouTube. They didn't expect much, but maybe a couple of thousand views. But to their complete and utter amazement, the video went mega viral, catching the attention of Queen Bee herself, and the young sisters had no idea. And all they had was a busted laptop, no lighting, no PR team, no professional setup, just raw talent and a dream.
Shine the light on whatever's wild. Perfection is a disease of a nation.
3 weeks later, a rep from Beyoncé's label contacts their dad. The girls think it's spam. Dad too wasn't sure and almost deletes the email, but then decides to respond and give it a try, hoping for the best. Turns out, it was actually real and not a fluke. Beyoncé has watched them, not once, not twice, but multiple times on repeat. She claimed their harmonies made her cry, and before the sister knew what was happening, they were presented with a Parkwood Entertainment 6-figure deal. And for those who are unaware, Parkwood Entertainment Studio is owned by Beyoncé. Beyoncé promised if they signed the deal, she would mentor them personally and turn them into global superstars.
Ladies, I am so proud of you. Please give it up for my girls, Khloe and Halle.
The sisters were in complete shock and still didn't believe it was real. And of course, they ended up signing and the rest was history. But fame came with a price, and their tight sisterhood would soon face its first major test. At number 8, Khloe and Holly have always been very close to each other, but as money and fame came into the equation, their relationship was put to the test. They may have smiled together on red carpets, but behind the scenes, it got messy. Khloe was always seen as the Beyoncé in training. Holly, the spiritual, soft-spoken one. Fans started comparing them, tearing them apart. Hashtag Team Khloe versus hashtag Team Halle. Whispers of jealousy, rumors of rivalry. Behind closed doors, it hurt. Holly would cry in hotel rooms after performances. Khloe felt pressure to lead every interview, every song, every moment. The bond they had as sisters, it cracked. They even considered breaking up the duo quietly, no drama, just to save their relationship. But then came an offer that would change everything for the sisters and almost destroy Holly's mental health. At number 7, let's be real, being cast as Ariel in Disney's The Little Mermaid should have been a dream, but for Holly, it was a nightmare in disguise. The pressure, the backlash, the weight of representation, it all hit her like a tidal wave. She turned down the role not once, but twice. She wasn't sure if she was ready. Not for the fame, not for the racism, or even Disney's sanitized corporate world. It was her mentor, Beyoncé herself, who advised her, sometimes you don't feel ready for your destiny, but that doesn't mean it isn't yours. So, Holly eventually said yes, but not without hesitations and doubts. She was terrified at what the outcome of this movie might be. After production was done and the trailer finally dropped, let's just say Holly was not ready for what was coming next, and the internet's reaction was everything Holly feared, and worse. At number 6, the moment Disney released the first Little Mermaid trailer, Twitter caught fire. "She's not my Ariel. Why did they blackwash it? Disney is ruining childhoods," were some of the comments floating all over the internet. This wasn't just racist trolls, it was organized, coordinated attacks against Halle. Hashtags like #NotMyAriel trended globally. Reaction videos were flooded with racial slurs. Halle's DMs, pure hate mail. And not the passive kind. Death threats, real ones. People wrote entire Reddit threads analyzing how Disney had succumbed to the woke agenda. One man even took it a step further and doxed Halle's home address online. And the worst part? She was only 19. The Disney PR machine told her to stay quiet, let the narrative pass. But Halle, she did something different. She went radio silent for months, then walked onto the Little Mermaid red carpet with her locks crowned in jewels, her skin glowing like gold, and said just 6 words. "This is for the little girls." No clapback, no shade, just grace and fire. But behind that grace, behind the seemingly tough and unfazed exterior, Halle was breaking down, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And on set, things were about to get even more brutal. At number 5, being chosen as the lead actress and protagonist was a bittersweet accomplishment for Halle. Cause, well, let's just say filming and production was intense. From 13-hour days in a water tank to hanging from wires and shooting underwater with contact lenses that blurred her vision, to also singing upside down all while fighting panic attacks in silence. Halle had to endure all this for months on end, and one day she collapsed. This was possibly due to dehydration, muscle fatigue, anxiety overload. She was then hospitalized, quietly, no headlines, no press. And when she returned to set on the next day, she apologized. Yup, apologize for slowing down production, because that's how much pressure she felt to prove she belonged. But just when she thought things couldn't get any worse, Disney tried to adjust, or in other words, completely change something very personal which she considered her identity, and let's just say Halle was not having it. But before we continue, if you're still watching the video to this point, it's safe to assume you're enjoying the content. And if you could do us a huge favor, please hit the subscribe button and bell notification to our channel to get notified whenever we drop more amazing content like this one. And also, if you're feeling generous, hit that super thanks button. It truly does help support our channel and keep us putting out more amazing content just like this one. Now moving on to the next spot. At number 4, let's talk about that iconic red hair. You know, the flowing locks Ariel rocks underwater? That wasn't always the plan. Disney wanted her in a wig, a straight, bright red one. Classic cartoon Ariel, but Halle wasn't having it. Her locks were her identity, her roots, her culture. She told producers, "If I play this character, I play her as me." There was resistance, exec meetings, studio notes. A few Disney execs then gently suggesting she should think about the legacy of the original character. She did, and then she told them, representation without authenticity isn't representation at all. So Disney, with little choice, relented. They hired a specialist to dye and blend her real hair into a magical flowing mane. At a reported cost of over $150,000, Halle's victory wasn't just for aesthetic, it was a bold statement that Black women need equal representation in pop culture too. But going from hair struggles to even more devastating issues while filming, things just seemed to keep getting worse for Halle. At number 3, you know those perfect high notes in part of your world? Well, they almost didn't happen. Mid-filming, Halle developed vocal strain from years of performing. Emotional stress and the physical pressure of singing underwater had taken a toll. She started losing range, notes cracked, her falsetto vanished. There were whispers of vocal nodules. One Disney vocal coach suggested surgery, but instead, she called a family friend, a gospel singer from back home in Atlanta, to get some advice on how to remedy her voice naturally. And let's just say the suggested remedy was a little questionable. The recommendations? No talking after 6 p.m. Raw honey with cayenne pepper, and also screaming into pillows to release tension. But that last one? Weirdly effective. After 3 weeks of silence and prayer, she returned on set, walked back into the booth, and just like magic, her voice was completely restored and Halle nailed the take in one go. But just as things started to stabilize, Halle's personal life spiraled, and heartbreak hit her underwater. At spot number 2, here's the heartbreak. Disney definitely won't include the DVD extras. While Halle was filming in London, she was going through a quiet, devastating breakup with her longtime boyfriend and high school sweetheart, a low-key off-the-radar relationship. No drama, no cheating, just distance, depression, and the brutal cost of fame. Holly and her then-boyfriend tried making the relationship work, but due to distance plus fame and an insanely busy schedule, just couldn't work out. They finally broke up in the middle of Holly's biggest movie project to date. And while working on set was already stressful enough, this just made it infinitely both emotionally and mentally worse for young Holly. She tried to keep it together on set, but between takes, she'd cry in her trailer. There's a scene in the movie where Ariel looks longingly up at the surface. And yes, that tear, it's real. Castmates and other co-workers stated that she barely spoke during breaks. Music became her only therapy. She'd spend hours alone writing sad songs she hadn't released to this day. But one day, after Holly made an Instagram post, DDG slides in her DMs complimenting her song choice. She of course responded back. One thing led to another. They then later on went on their first date, and from then on everything else was history. But before anything could blossom between Holly and DDG, Disney's PR team got involved, because yes, Disney controls the love life of its stars. And finally, at spot number 1, when whispers started spreading that Holly might be seeing someone, even casually, Disney panicked. Why? Because Holly wasn't just a lead actress, she was becoming a brand, a princess, a role model, and Disney didn't want any distractions. Her reps advised her to keep things clean, no PDA, no Instagram posts, no romantic connections that could dilute the narrative. And Holly? She hated it. She hated the idea that being a role model meant hiding her joy, her love, her truth, and things only got worse for Holly when rumors of her getting pregnant surfaced. As the backlash was immense, Disney did not only criticize her, they took it a step further to completely drop Holly from the prestigious Oscars because they claimed she did not adhere to the Disney brand image. Some even claimed that her entire career might be at stake due to this out-of-wedlock pregnancy. But through it all, Holly remained calm and positive, and never went on a tirade to barrage Disney or anyone for that matter. So, what's next for Holly? Well, I guess only time will tell. But one thing I can assure you, she's just getting started. Holly Bailey isn't just a princess, she's a fighter, a survivor, a disruptor in glittering heels. Going from a broke high school graduate to being mentored by Queen Beyoncé herself to then becoming a global phenomenon, Holly is a force to be reckoned with. And speaking of Beyoncé, did you know that she has a weird obsession with murder mysteries? Or that she had a miscarriage that almost took her life, and that she actually fired her own dad? If you didn't know this, you definitely want to click the video on screen to find out more. And I'll see you on the other side. Till next time.